good evening, everybody. How you doing? How you doing out there? Yes. Welcome on in to another installment of Medical Talk in Layman's Terms with Nurse Charlene. And tonight it was a viewer's pick that they asked me to research and provide for you. And the topic is menopause and andropause. Of course, I'm gonna explain the title and everything, but welcome on in, you guys. Y'all know I love to get little visitors on and everything, and I want you guys to talk to me and stuff. So you gotta definitely get on in here and say hello or something. Hello to you and everything. But yes, welcome on in. Beautiful topic because I like to do co-ed topics, and stuff because it means that it touches, both ends of the viewers. It touches my guys, but it also touches my gals, and everything and stuff. So as I go on in and stuff, before I get started, of course, I do a podcast disclaimer and everything. And that's just to make sure that I'm keeping myself on, but I'm staying within the standards, and stuff. There's a lot of standards when you're coming on and you're teaching. And when I do read my podcast disclaimer, it says, reaching out to that medical professional. I'm really referring to your doctor. Because of course I'm Nurse Charlene, and stuff, and you guys know me and everything and stuff, but I'm Nurse Charlene, and your doctor is whatever your doctor is, and this is somebody that hopefully you have some type of rapport with, and hopefully there was some type of going back and forth, and you trusted them enough to say a couple things, let them give you a couple shots, give you a couple exams, listen to your lungs with the little stethoscope thing and listen, and do their thing and stuff. And so it's important that you know that, but also that I am a healthcare provider and have been. The last Tuesday was September 2nd. It was not only my grandmother, my mother's birthday, but also the day I got my license in 2004 and everything. So I am official 21 years in this and stuff, and very proud. And I just wanted to make sure that I went back and told you guys, everybody that congratulated me and stuff. It was bittersweet. I had the little funny thing about telling you that I quit every day. I still quit, and stuff all the time. But what I didn't tell you is the real one of the main reasons why I didn't quit is because I saw that check. Yes, I saw that check. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to stay a little bit longer. This check is like a little band-aid and stuff. So I didn't quit that time. And so then something else happened. I get me a naked guy. I'll never get that vision out of my face, but that naked guy chasing me, but he was demented, had dementia. So he didn't know he was naked chasing me, but I knew he was naked. I remember seeing everything. And even when I get dementia, I'll probably still remember him in my dreams and everything, but he chased me on down the hallway and I quit. Instead of somebody pulled out a catheter. I quit. I quit. They gave me one that was too hard for me. I quit. I saw my check. Okay, I'm going to stay a little bit longer. How about that? And everything. So as the world turns, you got 21 years later, somebody didn't believe me, or I didn't believe me, even though I said the actual act, because I'm still here. So welcome on in, you guys, to Medical Talk in Layman's Terms with Nurse Charlene. And the topic tonight was a viewer's pick, and that is menopause and andropause. I added andropause to it because I wanted to get it a little spicy, and I wanted to talk about what we got here, him and her. Welcome on in, Auntie Josie, and welcome on in, Auntie Barb. And stuff. Thank you for coming on in and stuff. Y'all pump me up, hype me up, okay? Ladies, these my girls. and stuff. But welcome on in, you guys, and stuff. So before I get started, I want to talk about the podcast disclaimer. But I was trying to find out why I can't even see myself online and stuff. What's going on here? Because it is not showing. What a dirty south. No. Okay, there it goes. Because I like to I like to look from different views and everything to see. Welcome on in, Miss Rosie. We know you're not in no type of menopause or anything like that. Uh, Rosie Granny Allen, that's my mommy. I love her to life. I love Miss Josie and Barb to life and stuff. These are some soldiers, and they here to support and stuff. And I thank you. Welcome on in, ladies. And the topic is probably near and dear to my heart, but it's probably also to you ladies' heart, and that is menopause. Hey, but guess what? Oh, welcome on in, Sandra. I see you. She said, "Good evening, Nurse Charlene and Rosie." Yes, welcome on in. Welcome on in and stuff. So I'm talking about menopause, ladies and gentlemen. I said gentlemen, right? Because guess what andropause is? Male menopause. Yo, men menopause. Men menopause. Okay? So now we in the know and stuff. So my guys, if you out there, get on in and stuff. Don't be afraid and stuff. This is some good stuff. All right. So we're going to do podcast disclaimer real quick. And that is, the podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not intended to replace professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always consult with your physician for any medical concerns. If you have a question about a medical condition, reach out to a qualified healthcare professional, your doctor. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay seeking it because of something you heard on a podcast. I'm not going to say just this one, on anybody's podcast. Guest views are their own and may not reflect the views of the host or this podcast. Meaning, when I bring guests on, we have the same goal in mind and everything, but they may sometimes reflect it, or they may be in the know on something that I don't know anything about. And so when I have them on here, they're going to be giving us both that information. And these are usually experts in that, right? Because they studied and researched it. And that's who I bring on. It depends on, and it's going to be a lot that I'm going to start bringing on. So you're going to start seeing guests really soon. So y'all stay tuned, because it's a lot of stuff on here. And then I'm coming. I've already started my merchandising and everything, but I'm gonna start, putting that on here, not turning it into a store or anything. It's still gonna be medical talk in layman's terms with Nurse Charlene, but there is a thing to it. I don't know if you can see it under my name where it says Nurse Charlene, but it says CEO of Your Body's a Snitch, Believe It. You gotta play with it in your mind as you say it. Your body's a snitch, believe it. And just think about that. And think about all the times that if you have a pain, your body snitched. If you stumped your toe and it hurts, it's throbbing, it's snitching, and it's snitching. It's not pleased with that. If you have a headache, something is going on. I don't know if it's an outside force, it's not dealing with your, because I get headaches too. Don't get me wrong. I'm a patient also. I'm a nurse telling you this so that you be in the know, like I'm in the know, because I know why I get a headache or something like that. And the only difference between me and you or anybody else out there and stuff is I know in my heart of hearts that I need to go tell on it. It's giving me a sign by snitching. Now, what am I going to do? Do I mask it? This is what I did find out, because I had to play with this. Your body is a snitch. But do you know that, does it say anywhere on the label? Because I need y'all to research for me and be my researchers and stuff. Does it say anywhere on the label of Tylenol or Motrin or Pepto-Bismol, does it say it heals anything? Because I wanted to find that out and stuff. So I want to ask my audience, I want to poll the audience and stuff. Let me know if you find on any medicine bottle, any Vaseline bottle, any Neosporin bottle, does the medicine that you put on anything, Vicks, Robitussin, and stuff, does it heal? Does it say it promotes healing, or does it say it heals the whatever it is? Because if that's the case, why should we go to a doctor? We could just go and get some Tylenol and it should heal everything, right? Or does it mask it and cover it up so that you don't find out what's really going on in your body because you just took a Tylenol? So you've had a headache every single day of your life. Every single day you wake up and you got a headache. And, you know, maybe you started a new job and now you get a headache 3-4 times a day, or it just never goes away and stuff. Could it be that job? Or could it be you didn't buy enough Tylenol, so you need to take Tylenol all day long to address it or something like that? Because Tylenol heals it, right? And it's going to take care of the problem. That new job, it might be stressful and it's causing you to have headaches, but you could take Tylenol and then you healed it, right? Or did you just stop the pain and it masked what's really going on, and it's actually a brain tumor, or it's actually high blood pressure? So it's snitching because headache is a symptom and stuff, and a snitch is a symptom. It's telling, hey, what you gonna do about this? What you gonna do about that? But in order to find out that you got high blood pressure, if you're not taking your blood pressure every day and stuff, then how do you know? I'm too young for high blood pressure. Are you? Do you know? Who told you that? Did somebody say, my child, you're too young? Come on. So now let's get started. But going back, one more thing and stuff about the information shared is for general knowledge. It should not be used for any legal or medical purposes. Meaning, I can't help you with your lawsuit, but if you're doing it in good faith, yes, I hope you win. Then bring me some. No. But anyway, always consult with a licensed professional who knows your medical history for a meaningful evaluation. Stay informed, but always seek professional advice when it comes to your health. Always go to the person that went to school and actually had the nerve to try to figure it out for you so that y'all can figure it out together. Yes, so Miss Josie, come on in and stuff. Sorry, Miss Rosie said, praise the Lord, everyone. I am watching in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Thank you for coming on and watching. And I hope that you get something out of it. And Miss Josie says, some people can't take Tylenol. It can mess up their liver. Absolutely. So then there's other things that you can possibly take. It maybe if you can't take Tylenol, you might be able to handle Motrin. And then people that can't handle Motrin because of bleeding problems can possibly handle that, you know, and stuff. It depends on what you got, you know, and everything. So it's a whole I call it like Russian roulette, you know, where you just spin the wheel, you know, and stuff, and you get what you come for and stuff like that. It's crazy. Thank you, Miss Barbara, Auntie Barbara, and stuff. But yes, that's how it goes. So I wouldn't be right if I didn't start off with definitions for you. So definitions for menopause in women, because it's menopause, and menopause for refers to the woman. And that is the natural permanent end of a menstrual cycle, diagnosed after 12 consecutive months without a period or menstrual cycle. It's usually supposed to be every month, you know, give or take. It's a couple variables in that and stuff. But if for 12 consecutive months without any help, and you would normally have a menstrual cycle, you do not have one, it marks the end of uh you you go into, you're in full menopause basically. That means that you're not ovulating anymore. You're not in that age of making babies and stuff, because you went 12 months without a period. And a period means that you have an egg to be what I call hatched and stuff. So you have no more hatchable eggs and stuff. And then it marks the end of fertility. No more hatchable eggs. So the end of trying to get pregnant or anything is done. Okay, perimenopausal. That's around the subject of menopause. And that transition phase is before menopause with fluctuating hormones. That's the women that are could be going into early, could be going into regular menopause, or could be going into late menopause and stuff. And it's a group of symptoms of menopause that you might experience and everything. And that's where perimenopause is at. And then you got the key one, the new word, okay? Andropause, male menopause, sometimes called male menopause. And it describes the age-related decline in testosterone, a hormone that a man secretes. And your testosterone level drops. And that drop gives you related symptoms that are like a male's version of menopause. It is the male's version of menopause. And it gives you those symptoms. And through it, it's even though it's not quite women's menopause, it's a gradual onset of the same thing as a female menopause and stuff. It's a little bit slower. It's a little nicer. Women just, I'll get to that as I go on. Welcome on in, guys, to Medical Talk in Layman's Terms with Nurse Charlene. And Auntie Barbara said, what do I do about these hot sweats? I'm going to get to that now and stuff, because it is crazy what I done found out and researched and stuff. It's so funny. But I'm definitely going to answer that question, Auntie, and stuff. So I'll call your name out when I get there, and it's very soon and everything. Yes, I'm excited. This is good, because instead of us hiding behind, I ain't in no menopause, that's for old people and all of that stuff. You don't know what you in. Your body snitch yet? Start listening to it and stuff, and it'll let you know, hey, you getting on down, girl, and stuff. That's where, are you getting on down, man, dude, and stuff like that, because we both go into it. It's equal opportunity, equal opportunity blessing. Yeah, it's called life. Yes. So women, the ages, average ages and stuff, they say that an average age of starting menopause is between 45 years old to 55 years old. Most people starting with no kinks in a row, because it's other variables that cause it to come on earlier. But with no kinks in a row, you might start around 51. Okay. Then we got early menopause. That's when a woman, I'm talking about women, will start around 45 years old and stuff. So this is early menopause is 45, and sometimes even earlier than that. But there's variables of it being earlier for men and women and stuff. And then there's premature. Oh, so I said it starts earlier than the 45 and stuff. Premature menopause, meaning it ain't supposed to start this early, but it did and stuff. And that starts around 40. And it can be earlier than that, believe it or not. It just depends. Our bodies are so vast and so different, but yet we have the same parts. They're just different. Our DNA is made up different and everything. So, and our where we live at and all those things, everything is a factor. Your outside environment is a factor on when all of this stuff comes. And I'm definitely getting to those symptoms of hot sweats and everything. Statistical. I want to get a little technical, but not too much and stuff, not boring technical. But a median age or a kind of average age of menopause is 51 years old in the US. Remember I said your environment. So if you in the Caribbean, or you're in Europe somewhere, the UK or something like that, or you're in Russia, or you in China or some, it's different ages for it to start, and everything and stuff. So you'll see different things. But for US, the average age starts at about 51. So if you're over that age, you might want to look at it, or just pay attention. Pay attention to your body. You only get one. Okay. Then you got early menopause, and that's your 40 to 45, and that's about approximately 5% of the women in the US. You got premature, that's when you just a baby and you got it, and stuff like that. Shame, terrible. No. But premature menopause, that's less than 40, period. 40 or less. And everything, and that's about 1% of the women will start that early. And then life expectancy after menopause, and this is for women. Don't worry, men, I got some for you too, but this is for women. Your life expectancy after menopause has started is approximately 30 plus years. So you can live another 30 years. So it doesn't stop your life. It just kind of slow you down and make you a little confused at times and stuff. And then you got to get over it. And once you get used to it, you get on the smooth sailing, and then you embrace, and everything. But in the meantime, we get near with them symptoms. Auntie Josie said, do menopause stay dependent? Yep, I'm getting to it, baby. Yeah, I love it. She said, do menopause stay dependent on when you start your period? I think I'm getting to that part and stuff. I don't know if I know exactly about when you start your period, because sometimes I'll get so excited. I'll be like, yep, and stuff like that. And then I got to go back and find out that it doesn't depend on the period. It depends on when you stop it and everything. So when that period decides that it can stop for 12 consecutive months, so that's one clean year with no menstrual cycles and no help or anything, it just naturally stops and stuff, you are in your menopause stage. You are full menopause and stuff. So it doesn't actually depend on when you started your period. It depends on when your period stops and stuff. That's what it depends on, if that's clear. But I still got something for you and stuff. Auntie Sandra said, what happened when you never go through it at all? So there's probably, I'm not even sure if it's a such thing as never going through it, because we all carry estrogen. We all carry, progesterone and all of these things inside our body and stuff. So there's no such thing as, I don't think there's any such thing, but I'll find out for sure. Unless we're missing something, missing a part, or missing a certain hormone, which none of us can actually miss that kind of hormone, even if we've never had kids and stuff. And then, and everything, because it has to do with puberty and all these different things. So a woman is going to naturally go through that and stuff, unless there was something genetically modified, like taking hormones to transition you into a man or something like that. It could stop things from happening, and they're going earlier and earlier with this. So it would be a variable. But if you never went through it at all, it wasn't that you never went through it. You never noticed the symptoms. They could have been very light for you, where other people are burning up. Oh, I'm hot as I don't know what the heck is going on. Oh my God, I feel like I'm burning in hell. I got an Indian summer. I got a private summer. I got a moist summer, and all of that stuff. So when that happens, something like that happens, it's because you probably just had it light. A person never going through it and stuff. Then I have to ask, have you ever had a period? As a woman and stuff, have you ever even had a menstrual cycle? If you never had a menstrual cycle, there's something else. There's another little key, because we're all so different. that there's always one person that's just different from everybody else. You know, we're born with our heart supposed to be on our left side of our chest, and every blue moon, um, oh, sweating in the rain, or sweating a little extra, like, ooh, I was working out, but I was just sitting here and I'm sweating, you know, and stuff. It's weird, but yeah, it's a part of it. It's like, hello, I'm here. That's what menopause says, you know, and everything. But the part about that question about never going through it, yeah, you have to have went through it and stuff, as a human body and everything. So if you didn't go through it, it's something medically related, like a medicine, a condition that you might have, you know, or something like that. But it's something else that will cause you not to have went through it at all, and you're of age and stuff. So then the men, I said, for men, their statistics is a little bit different. For their overview, testosterone levels, this is, you know, our estrogen and progesterone, theirs is called testosterone for males. So males, your testosterone rate, it declines 1% per year after the age of 30. Okay, my young and tender 30-year-old young men and stuff in your prime, looking good. Every year, 31, 1% is less. 32, 2% less. 33, 3% less. Okay, that's why you go into menopause and everything. So it's 1% per year less after the age of 30. Pay attention. Your body is a snitch too. I'm not just talking to the women because I'm a woman and everything. I got a man up here and I got a woman up here. This is an equal opportunity event. Menopause and andropause. Okay. So then we got men over the age of 60 clinically diagnosed with low testosterone levels. It's about 20% of the men in the United States. And then men over 70 with low testosterone levels diagnosed, it's 30 to 40% of the men in the United States is stricken with this at over the age of 70. So mind you, it gets higher and higher, the increase. So that's why you see a young strapping man at 30 and they still muscle bound and looking good and all of that stuff. Not that you look bad because you're not muscle bound or something. I'm saying they're muscle bound and everything and stuff. And then when you start losing that testosterone, it starts making it harder, you know, to okay, I'll get to it. But anyway, I'm just saying, as your testosterone levels, which is the male hormone that makes a male, when that starts to decrease, so does everything else, muscle mass and everything else. So then Auntie Barbara said they start real early. Yes, because that 30, yeah, you thought 30, you know, I'm still Mr. Strokey though. Yeah, you might be, but it's 1% less by the time you're 31, 2% less by the time you're 32, and so on and so on. You see, I just, you know, and stuff. So it's gonna slow down and everything. I'm not trying to cause this to be a depression reel and stuff. What I'm trying to say is pay attention and your body will let you know. So real quick, behind me, I just want to say, because I did all this work, you know, putting them up there and stuff. So I was thinking about menopause and stuff. So I was like, okay, so men go through menopause. They got a male menopause, and then they got a female menopause, and that's menopause and everything and stuff. But the male is called andropause. And then I was looking at how do I explain that the men be going through it too? They gotta, you know, they got to squabble up too, just like the women. You know, we go through all of that childbirth and all of that stuff, but the men go through, you know, some things too and stuff, and they have to find out too and stuff. So I want to start with my lady right here and stuff. And this is just a lady, and so I'm trying to learn how to draw, y'all, so I can start getting this illustration book together and stuff like that. So I'm practicing on you guys and stuff. But yes, it says it's hot in her. It's hot in here. Like Nelly, it's getting hot in here. So don't take off your clothes, and stuff like that. So that's where I got it's hot in her, meaning it's hot in here. So guess what? One of the first things is, Auntie Barbara, hot flashes. Boom. But I'm gonna tell you, I got it down here and stuff, how long and everything and stuff. So yes, you're in for a treat tonight. Welcome on in to Medical Talk in Layman's Terms with Nurse Charlene. And we're talking about tonight's topic is menopause and andropause. Andropause being male menopause and stuff. And so one of the symptoms that I was talking about on the lady, after she done said it's hot in her, is hot flashes. A fast heartbeat. It's called palpitations, but this is medical talk in layman's terms. So I can't say that. So I got to say that heartbeat doing that giddy up is going fast. Then it might slow down. Then it might think about quivering a little bit and stuff. And you feeling that, you like, oh, my heart, I think it's going to stop. No, it's getting down because it's trying to deal with the fact that, dang, she in menopause and I got to be in here with her. And I know she gonna be mean. No, I'm just playing and stuff. So guess what else is a part of a symptom of menopause? And I'm gonna go over them again and stuff, but just up on my board because I wrote it down. Forgetfulness. Where I put my keys? Did somebody take my keys? I know they ain't took my keys and try to take my car and stuff, and them keys is on your finger. You're like, oh. I hope nobody saw that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody did it. Everybody did it. So Rosie Grandy Allen said mine started at 30 and up past 60. Yeah. So she is a anomaly because it's not common. It's only like about 1 to 5% of the women in the US that goes through this early. And 30 is extremely early. That's when she's still young and tender. But the good thing is she had me and my sister, which is the only two that she gave birth to in childbirth and everything. And she had us in her early 20s. So by the time she met menopause, she had already finished having what she decided was her babies. So she wasn't looking for any other ones and stuff. And so she also said, loving the board, pictures, my Jesus. Thank you. I really worked hard on it and stuff. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, look at y'all. Hype me up. See them comments, everybody. I don't know if you can see them on here, right, in this little area. But I'm gonna start putting them up on the board so all of us can see them and stuff. So Auntie Barbara said, every day I forget my phone and 3 flights of stairs I have to go back up. Oh, it's giving you that extra exercise you might need, and stuff. If you forget your phone and you 3 flights up and then you got to walk up and down them stairs, guess what you just got? Your treadmill exercise. And then you go out and do extra because you do a morning walk and stuff and walk the dog and everything and stuff like that. So, girl, you helping your heart with your forgetful self. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, you helping that heart and stuff. Thank you for that and stuff. Okay, I got another one for you. It says, when I asked that question, it was for someone that joined your class named T. Welcome her in. But my question is, why do come and go away, then come back? Because it wasn't finished with you and stuff. That's the mean part of it, is it's not finished yet. So it doesn't really go away. The symptoms might slow down because of something else, environmental, something else you're going through. So you don't notice it because you might be under stress or some extreme stress. We got that in our life because life be life and stuff. And so sometimes you might not notice it as bad, or you might not sweat as bad because you're dealing with something else. So you don't have time to sit down and worry about your Indian summer, and stuff like that, or whatever else intimate summer, that happens and stuff. And that's why it seemed like it's going away and coming back. It ain't never left. And I'm definitely getting there, but I like this and stuff. Y'all keep on listening because I got a treat for you and stuff. Definitely. Thank you, ladies and stuff, because this is what it is, and everything. And by the way, I'm 53. Am I in menopause? I'll let you guess. Yes. Oh my God. And stuff, that is so cute. But I love it and stuff because life keep on lifing and stuff. So definitely that and stuff. But if you're gonna be transparent, why shouldn't I? I'm the host, and everything and stuff. Why shouldn't I be and I'm human? Why do you think I'm telling you this? Because I found out. That makes me an expert. Aside from the fact that I've been a registered nurse, an active duty registered nurse to this day for 21 years. But guess what? I have 32 years in the healthcare field. So I have all this other stuff that I know, like being a certified phlebotomist, like being a certified nurse's aide, like being a medical assistant, by being a EKG tech, and stuff like that. So guess what? I found out by default a lot of stuff like that. Some people have a heart, or most people are born with their heart on their left side, and some people get it on their right side. Why you do that? The same reason why I'm a leap year and I get a birthday every 4 years, because it just happens. Welcome on in, Miss Kiki. She said, hey, did I hear about hot flashes? I found out that I have seasonal flashes. Yes, Miss Kiki and stuff, because you might be of a certain age. I don't know. You got some youth on you, but you might be of a certain age where I said the average woman in the United States of America starts around 51. So if you're anywhere over 51, then you might have started, but that's the standard and everything, but it's the normal standard. You also could have started if you're in the ages of before. We have somebody on here, Rosetta Granny Allen, that started around 30 or somewhere 30-ish or something like that and everything. So any one of us could get it at any time. It's just, because there's an anomaly. That's why I said there's a trigger. And then one more thing about Sandra, I read your comment about you had somebody, T. Welcome on in, Miss T. I look forward to meeting you and going back and forth with you. You just sit back, enjoy the ride and everything and stuff. But I'm going to be bringing some wonderful topics on, and tonight is just as wonderful as any other one, and that's we're talking about menopause for women and andropause for men, male menopause and everything. So it's an equal opportunity giver and everything. But the question, Miss T, is if you've never been through any menopause symptoms, it's not that you've never been through them. You may have never had them. You could have a condition that caused you not to ever go into that, or you could have had a certain medication or early on or something like that that could have caused these type of things to happen and stuff. But also there's a few variables that would, or you just didn't notice it, or your hot flashes weren't as flashy as a lot of people. I went to the flashier ones, like I got hot. It felt like my face was melting. I just sitting up there just steaming. If I put my face up against the glass, it'd probably steam up, and stuff. So I found out whether I wanted to or not and stuff. And so many of you that got on tonight and stuff, you probably dealt with it, and stuff like that. It doesn't make anything wrong with you. It just means that there was some other anomalies. Like I said, You're born, everybody is usually born with their heart on their left side. There are some people, by me doing EK Tech, classes and stuff and graduating and stuff, some people are born with it in the middle or on the right side. How weird when they try to defibrillate you and your heart is over here on the right, on the wrong spot or something like that. We don't know and everything and stuff. So that happens and stuff. And it could be anything and stuff. We would have to dig a little deeper and everything in order to answer that with certainty. All right. Thank you guys. I love it. I love it. This is what I'm talking about. This is why I get on. This is why I get pumped up and everything. Oh, Miss Kiki said it was my 50th birthday present. I'm 10 years stronger now. Did you say 10 years strong? Oh, so you're 60. All right. All right, young and tender. We still young and tender. It doesn't matter and stuff. But yes, so you said that was your 50th birthday present. Little menopause, little hot flashes. Hey. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. And everything. I think it might I started a little bit later, but I had what they call perimenopause. That's around it, and stuff. That means I got some of the symptoms, but not the full symptoms and everything and stuff. So I'm still in a stage where I'm perimenopausal. So I'm not full menopause because I get a visitor. Yeah, I still get a visitor. I'm 53. And I'm not hatching no eggs, but eggs want to probably see somebody about something, but I'm okay. Being transparent, just letting you know I can relate. Yes, Kiki, so that I was right and stuff. Miss Josie says, I was told I am still producing eggs. I didn't believe this could still be happening because of my age. Yeah, we got a lot of them. And so I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to sell mine and stuff. But yes, we still have some eggs and everything. But once you get that 12 consecutive months of no menstrual cycle and it does not come back after that and everything, if those eggs, they're no good anyway and stuff. But after 12 consecutive months of no menstrual cycle. So I'm actually been perimenopausal for a little while now, but I'm not even full menopause because I still get a cycle and stuff. And so until that stops, and it stops for 12 consecutive months, I'm still in perimenopausal. That means around the fact I get some things like that hot flash, like I might have a mood swing, or I just blame it on that, and stuff. But get a little mood swing. Night sweats. Has anybody ever had it where you go to bed, you got a nice little thin gown on? Because after a while, you start wearing the thin gowns. You start being hello, unless it's the winter and stuff. But even in the winter, you sweat and you bundle up, and you still sweating in the middle of the night and have to get up and change your gown or something like that. Or you put on a nice light gown and you still sweat it out. So no matter what, you darned if you do, darned if you don't. And this is for the females. But guess what? I'm a wake up the men, okay? And stuff. So some causes. So these are causes of menopause, and I'm gonna run through them real quick. And that is, it's a natural decline in your ovarian function, a natural decline in your eggs. Yes. Kiki says sometimes I do get night sweats. That's a part of menopause, but it could be perimenopause if you're still receiving a menstrual cycle, even if it's every other month. Until you go zip without any and stuff, then you're perimenopausal. You're not even menopausal, and it doesn't matter age because there's an anomaly and stuff. That's where that comes from and stuff. So when you're loss of ovarian, that means them eggs stop delivering that little menstrual cycle to you and stuff like that. And your estrogen, which is your hormone, and progesterone drops, then that's when that's when you know that you're going into full menopause. Sometimes menopause is a surgical menopause. A surgical menopause is where they remove your ovaries. That's your egg deliverers, and stuff like that. So you could be thrown into it by surgery and stuff. Or I got my tubes tied, or I got my tubes cut, so it can't even deliver an egg to you and stuff. So you go into menopause that way and everything. So then Barbara said certain foods contribute to your hot sweats. Yes, and stuff. Spicy. If you notice that a lot of people, you could eat that hot jerk chicken and stuff like that for years and stuff, and then all of a sudden, ooh, it's a little hot, and or you mess around and find out after, and stuff, after you done got on down and ate it anyway, and stuff. Then you can figure it out and stuff. But yeah, that jalapeno and scotch bonnets and different things like that, yeah, you'll find out and everything. Also, I told you the surgical menopause is the removal of your ovaries or the cutting of your fallopian tubes, which is your fertility and everything. Also, and pay attention to this, ladies, for anybody that's ever known somebody or is going through it themselves. Chemotherapy and radiation, either or, can trigger early menopause or keep that little choo-choo train of hot flashes going. Yes. Okay. I said I had some treats. I had some nuggets for men. Gradual decline of your testosterone is like a woman's progesterone and estrogen and stuff. The man's hormone is testosterone, and that gradual decline is what throws them into male menopause. Why do men have menopause? Because it's spelled MEN. I'm just playing. Rosie Gritty Allen said, why do men have menopause? Because they're human beings and they have hormones as a human being. So they're just like we have human women have hormones, men have hormones. They have male hormones, women have women hormones and stuff. So when those levels drop, that's when this menopause comes in. It's a condition of that. So that's why it drops. But I was like, it's say menopause, so shouldn't men get it? And women, we should be free of that and let the men get it? No, can't do that and stuff. You got to be a human being. And what are the symptoms for men or for women, Auntie Barbara? You said, what are the symptoms of menopause for men and stuff? So guess what? I'll give that to you now. The causes are chronic illness causes a man to go into menopause, obesity. So when you get a little thick, sometimes they get a little gut, they look like they're a little pregnant too, and stuff. That's a start of a menopause. That's why I said you 30-year-olds, 1 minute you fine with your 18-pack or 25-pack down there and stuff, and you all chiseled. And then one little bad break and you eating too much and everything. Next thing you know, it turned into a pot belly and stuff. That means you going into menopause and everything. Obesity, stress, and other lifestyle factors can worsen the symptoms and worsen the oncoming of it and stuff. Oh, okay, for men. So I'm getting there now and stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and skip ahead to it. Symptoms. So this is what I'll do since Auntie Barbara said what are the symptoms for men. I'm gonna go to men first and stuff. So men, these are your symptoms. Pay attention. Your body is a snitch. These are all the snitches your body does to let you know that you're going into male menopause, andropause, male menopause. And that is low energy and fatigue, not COVID related, not flu related and everything, but low energy and fatigue. Reduce libido and erectile issues, meaning erectile dysfunction. If you don't know what it means, I'm gonna leave some in the comments and stuff, but it's a problem with performance for a male. So these are things to pay attention to. Or reduce sex drive. So I said this about the woman, but I never got over here to the men. So I'm just saying symptoms. Pay attention. Mood swings. Men have mood swings too. They can swing, bipolar-ish, and stuff. Sometimes it's just bipolar. You might have a mental condition, and stuff like that. But if your testosterone levels are dropping, you might become extra irritable or extra nice. And you don't know where you want to be at any time. You actually forget things. You can get depressed even from it as a male. So we got to pay attention because you're still a human being. You can't be macho all the time if you having problems. If your hormones are dropping, you're human. Stop being so hard on yourself and embrace what's going on so that you can get to the other side. There's treatments for this and everything. And then I'll be answering the questions in just a second. I'll see you guys. But loss of muscle mass. So them big old guns, hey, I'm nice and muscly. They start turning the flab too, like the women, and stuff like that. If we don't work out and stuff like that. And then increased fat. That you get that gut, and stuff. Men get that gut too. They still be fine, and stuff. Still probably got some chiseling and stuff. But if you let it go too long, you're gonna get that belly. You're gonna find out, and stuff. No offense. Because the women doing it too. I'm talking about women. I'm a woman, but I'm an equal opportunity information giver. So you could be a man or a woman, and stuff. It doesn't matter and stuff. I'm telling it all for everybody and stuff. You get sleep disturbances, insomnia, can't go to sleep and stuff, or different things and stuff, or too sleepy. You get tired quick, and stuff like that. So it's sleep disturbances because it's not a natural sleep. I had a hard day at work. I took my shower, ate my food, my dinner and stuff. Now I'm in the bed and I'm relaxing, and you gone, for the night and everything. Also decreased motivation and focus. I can't focus. I'm taking shortcuts. I hate this job. They work me too hard. I'm getting too old for this, and stuff. All that stuff builds up. I'm forgetful. I can't remember this and stuff. I used to know this, all this, that, and this and that. Now I don't know nothing, and stuff like that. That's where all this stuff comes from. Thank you. Auntie Barbara said thank you. And Kiki said the libido acts weird. 1 minute hot like fire, then leave me alone. Absolutely. Their drive is like, they was a jackrabbit. Boom, 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 boom. You can't tell me nothing, and stuff. Then I'm the Easter bunny. Yeah, I'm going to sleep. I'm not doing nothing. It ain't because your mate is not attractive. It's because they're losing testosterone, so that sex drive is going down, and stuff. We're not celebrating this because everybody wants to, have a healthy sex drive. But if you start losing it and stuff, there's things to do. So there's hope. But if you start losing it, it's a reason behind it and everything. So I did men. So I just want to race through real quick women and our symptoms of what is it? Our symptoms of menopause, and everything. The main ones. We get osteoporosis. That's like sponge-like bones. That's why you got to go and get bone density tests and all of that stuff. Men do too, but women, this is one of the big ones and stuff. Is Miss Kiki, thank you. She said everything you mentioned is facts. Good job. Thank you. I like that. I'm putting that up there so everybody can see. See, they support me and stuff. I love this and stuff. But yes, she said everything you mentioned is facts. Yeah, because I take the time, I promise you guys, and I research it. I don't want to come on here with no trash talking for you, stuff. I want to give you some good stuff. And I got a fun little facts versus myths on this same thing. So let me go ahead and pour through it and stuff. But thank you, Kiki, and stuff. And so for women, it's osteoporosis, and then you got your cardiovascular disease, and one of the number one is high blood pressure for women. We already going through all this stuff. We had a babies and all of that stuff, but that high blood pressure, it even get us in our birthing years when we're having a baby. It's called preeclampsia, where we get high blood pressure and we can run the risk of harming the baby, and they'll take the baby from you earlier, and stuff like that. So it's high blood pressure is one. And then also we get the weight gain. That's why even though we're not having no more babies, we get a gut. We just call it the gut, the fupa, the fat above the pubic area or something like that, and stuff like that, and all those things and stuff. Miss Barbara, Auntie Barbara said, thank you for all your knowledge. I appreciate that. Yes, I try to give you the best because now you in the know. So you can't unknow this and stuff. And if you do unknow it a little bit, because you might forget, we in our little menopausal state and stuff, you could go back and watch the replay. So you still getting it. Yes, welcome on in, Maria. I've been missing you, girl. We got to talk. You going to call me. But anyway, she said body fat. Yes. She said body fat. Yes, that's that fat weight gain and stuff. But it's the little chubby belly. And then we don't get rid of it and get back down to our 25 pack in the front, and stuff like that. Oh, Madeline getting on. Oh, Auntie Madeline, she said, hey, Charlene, you are now, what'd you say? Hey, Charlene, you now, I need this one. Oh, thank you. I'm glad that I came on for you guys and stuff, because this is well needed. Because if you're in the know, guess what? I got some help for you. Help is on the way and everything. And Rosie Granny Allen said, my, teach, nurse, teach in Jesus' name. She didn't say name. I said it, Jesus. Amen. Amen. I love you, Rosie. And stuff. And so I told you the weight gain, and it's called metabolic syndrome, or we say my metabolism didn't slow down. It didn't slow down. Your estrogen and your progesterone is not as high. So that's why you get the belly around the belly, the little chubby belly and everything, and you can't get rid of it. So that's where the number one stunner is them Spanx. Yeah. And stuff. Then you got cognitive changes. I forgot my phone upstairs. I ain't going back to get it now. And stuff. Whoever called me, too bad. You should have called me later and stuff. I'm going for my walk without my phone. No, you can't go for your walk without your phone. Go on, run right back up there and get your phone, and then come back outside and take your walk and everything. But also depression. Why am I having hot flashes? I can't go nowhere. I'm sweating all over the place. Everybody probably think I'm nervous and stuff, and I'm just having a hot flash. I hate this, or just for no reason, it'll just break out. I remember I was on my way to San Francisco, so I was going to jump on the bar. So I said, let me walk on down here. I walked to the bar. If I tell you, I think my face melted, behind my ears melted, my neck. And I didn't have nothing, so I didn't have no tissue or nothing. So I took my sleeve and stuck it down in my shirt. I took my sleeve, and mind you, I'm perimenopausal, so I'm not even full menopause yet, and stuff. I still get a cycle, and unfortunately, and stuff. I don't like it, but anyway, but I stuck my sleeve down in my shirt. And I tried to, on the barge, it got air blowing up from the little vents. I don't even know if it got COVID in it. But I took my face and put it against the window of the barge and tried to blow the air to me. Let me stop. Oh my God. I'm having fun now, y'all, and stuff. I put my face up against the window and it blows air. I don't know what that is, what kind of air it is. It's like in the airplane when you turn on that little air over your head in the airplane, but on the bar and stuff. But I was like, damn, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. My God. And stuff. All I'm saying is I'm a human being too. But I'm just a human being in the know. So I'll tell on me faster than the average person will tell on themselves. Because I find out early. And when you find out early, you can get on down and stuff. Oh. Barbara, you instigating. That's terrible. She said, your face all wet. And then she said, I like this. And so then she said, I have to start wearing towels around my neck like fat people. Exactly. Because you know, because you get like that extra sweat. And it'd be like, are you doing this on purpose? Is this a punishment or something like that? Sometime, you know, and stuff. It'd be menopause or perimenopause. And Maria, thank you. She said, go on and be real. Yeah, if I be transparent, then you know that this is a non-judgment zone. Find out we humans, or the people that get on here is human. So if you hear them saying something, it ain't ha 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 to them, because ha 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 might be you next. You know, and so just remember that. You gon' mess around and find out. I'll be nice. Mess around and find out. Or, you know, if anybody else like the raw version and stuff, go ahead and F around and find out. And you pick out what F means and stuff. But yes, definitely. And stuff. So as I digress, another thing we have to deal with as a woman, I said for hot flashes and night sweats, we have irregular or missed periods before the full menopause. We have vaginal dryness, but there is hope, ladies. There's hope, because everybody ain't dried up and stuff. We have sometimes painful intercourse. It's not because you're not into it. It's because you're starting your menopause stage. So your hormones go down and stuff. And sometimes you're introduced to that dryness. And men not knowing, call it, you got them cobwebs or something like that and stuff. No, it's not cobwebs, and it's not drying like that and stuff. It's that we need to go and have some, you know, certain things we have to take, certain supplements, hormone supplements, and we get it back. All the way into the 80s and 90s. Yes, baby. Yes, baby. Yep, even the 80-year-old can drop it. Okay. But anyway, 80, 90 years old, you can still drop it like it's hot. Okay, and then also sleep disturbances. You get insomnia. You walking around the house and all of that type of stuff. Oh, yeah, you can faith around and find out. Yeah. Pay attention. Welcome on in, Don Trail, and thank you, Kiki. She said faith around and find out. Yeah, that's the F word, faith. Or freak around and find out, or frick. Okay. And then also there's sleep disturbances. You can get irritable, you know, mood swings. Sometimes you happy, sometimes you not, and sometimes you depressed. Like, why me? You know, and stuff like that. All of that happens. You're human. Stop being hard on yourself. Stop being hard on you, Charlene. Nurse Charlene. Okay. Then also for the men, low energy, that fatigue, I told you, that decreased libido and all of that stuff, you know, motivation. I'm just tired of this life, you know, and stuff like that. Treatments. Can I go to treatments real quick? Women, it's a lifestyle change. Guess what you got to do? Walk up and down, Auntie Barbara, walk up and down those stairs and keep on doing that and everything. So it's healthy diets, exercise, weight and stress management, meaning getting down to that slim goody stage, you know, and stuff, so that you don't have as many symptoms. The symptoms kind of reduce a little bit. Sometimes, it's not all the time, but these are some things that will help you. and it'll help your heart, you know, and keep it strong and stuff like that. Stress management is big. You got to take care of the mental, or the mental will jack up all the physical, you know, and everything. Avoid smoking if you can, or cut down on it till you can start a program to stop it. But also drinking alcohol in excess, you know, and stuff. I'm stressed out. I gotta have a, you know, a little something and stuff like that. Finding another way. There's meditation. There's other things and stuff. But I'm no judgment. I'm just reading off facts, you know, and stuff. Like Kiki said, I'm just giving you the facts and everything. Oh, Kiki also brought up this one. Chair yoga helps mood swings. Oh, I might have to try that. I have mood swings. But anyway, yes, chair yoga and stuff and everything. So all these different things and stuff. Remember, your body, it only did it with you at your age, 50, 60, 70, 80, whatever you are and stuff, 30, 40, you know, and stuff. It did it at your age and stuff, whatever it's going to do to you. You different from everybody else on this entire earth. Even if you're a twin, I got grandsons that are twins and stuff like that. They're still different. One is like this and one is like the, you know, like that and stuff. So that's where all this stuff comes in at and everything. Because I want to get to the good part where I find out about, let everybody find out, how long did this last? How long did this? Okay, I got it now. So how long do it last? And stuff. We getting there, babies, and stuff. So for women, just treatments. So your lifestyle change and stuff. That's your diet, your exercise, your stress reduction, your reduction of substances, you know, smoking and drinking and all those other things and stuff. I get it. You're human. Take your time, but remember, you only get one you and stuff. Be nice to it and stuff. Then there's hormone replacement therapy, HRT, and that's where they replace it. They give you supplements like vitamins. You know, yeah, I ain't got enough vitamin D, I ain't got enough vitamin C and stuff. They got hormones. I ain't got enough estrogen, I ain't got enough progesterone. They got actual medicines for that and stuff. That's one way of giving you a balance so that you don't have as many hot flashes by taking hormone therapy. It'll lessen the blow. Non-hormonal hormonal doesn't mean hormonal meds would be your antidepressants. They even said gabapentin, that's a neurological medicine, nerve medicine too, but gabapentin is good for hot flashes. I'm not doing that. Yep, I'll pray. But anyway, also there's supplements and local therapies for menopause, you know, and different things like calcium, vitamin D. That's your vitamin supplements that you can get and everything. And then also vaginal estrogen creams and stuff to put down there, so you don't just dry up and it just fall off and die and stuff. You actually have something that you can put down there, and it's probably better than when you were younger and stuff, to let you get on down and drop it like it's hot. Yeah, and stuff. And Miss Kiki said, I do. That's right. That's right. And then for men, I ain't leaving you out. This is equal opportunity lender. Auntie Barbara said, I am not taking gabapentin. Woo! Oh, so you must gonna pray like me. Exactly. I'll deal with the hot flashes. I will keep on putting my face on the barred window and trying to get that last little pinch of air that come up through the side with the COVID in it and everything. Yes. Miss Kiki said, 10 years for me, as much as I fuss, the flashes let me know I'm still alive. That's right. Let your body, your ticker still ticking and stuff. Your time ain't up yet and stuff, because that's a natural act of aging going on there. For men, it's exercise, it's lifestyle changes, more exercise. Probably not what you used to do, bench pressing 890 pounds or whatever and stuff, but it's exercise, weight management, because you get that gut. You might even get a little butt, and stuff like that, getting that together and stuff. Also, your hygiene and stuff, and keeping up with that and stuff, because you get rashes, you get growing rashes, you get stinky. Women get stinky, so you get stinky. You ain't immune to it and stuff. So you got to take care of all of that type of stuff. But you can get skin breakdown and stuff. So you got to make sure you're taking care of all of that and everything. So for men, there's, guess what? TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. That means a supplement of women get hormone replacement therapy. Men get testosterone because that's their hormone replacement therapy. So you see what I'm saying? And this helps lessen their blow of male menopause. Then also there's medications for erectile dysfunction. That's a sign of male menopause. Is one of the symptoms is erectile dysfunction, meaning your part might not stand up at attention like it used to, and stuff like that. It's few and far between and different things and stuff. So it's your version of looking at a woman like, ooh, you dry up and die. Well, you do too. Yep, I told you it's equal opportunity lender. Yeah, it gets on down for both of us, men and women and everything. Just letting you know and stuff. And guess what? You get depressed because you can't perform like Superman, the superhero and stuff. And then you start feeling, some type of way about yourself. Because guess what? Get off your back, you human. Stay off of you and stuff. Let me do it. I ain't gonna do it because I ain't gonna down you and everything. I'm gonna help you if anything. But also you got your supplements. That would be your vitamin D. That would be your calcium. That would be that healthy diet, and stuff like that. So that's the end of it and stuff. But those are some of the things and stuff. And I'll post some more in the comments and everything and stuff. So the biggest thing is the burning question that so many had. How long did this stuff last? Okay, well, we're going to find out together, okay? And stuff. So I'm doing myth versus facts. I'm starting with women, not because they have to go first or anything, but I'm starting with women because there's a lot of women that ask these questions and stuff. So this kind of answers it. When I say myth versus facts, myth meaning an untruth. It is not true, but I'm going to say something. Then I'm going to say that's not true. Then I'm going to give you the fact, a research fact. And everything and stuff. Yes. So Miss Kiki said, I'm grown. I give him a Mickey so we can get, yeah, I give him a Viagra. You know what? I found out as a nurse, I had to give a patient who was a woman Viagra. Do you know Viagra actually helps women with pulmonary hypertension? It helps them, just like a blood pressure medicine would help and stuff, but pulmonary mean lung hypertension or high blood pressure and stuff. It helps with that and stuff. So you could give a woman that to help with that particular problem. So we don't know what our medicines, they might have started off with that and messed around and found out that it helps a man with performance, sex drive performance. So it could go either way. Didn't I say we both human? So women go through menopause, so male go through male menopause. It's different, but it's the same that you go through menopause. You see how crazy that is? It's the truth. So let me start with women. Myth versus facts, real quick. Myth. Menopause only starts at age 50. I don't know who thought they had it at some other time or never at all and stuff like that. That's an untruth. Fact. It can occur at any time between 40 and 60, sometimes earlier than 40. Like somebody that got on and gave their truth that it started at 30, in their 30s and everything. So yes, it can start even earlier, but it can occur anytime between 40 and 60. And a year after them consecutive no periods, that's when you're full in. So that means that if you start a later menopause and stuff, then therefore might go into a later time when it stops. It may or may not, but I'm just saying that, and stuff, because it can happen and stuff. So that's one way. So another myth: menopause means sudden stop. That's the untruth. Okay, sudden stop of what? I don't know. But anyway, I still like myth versus facts and stuff. Fact: perimenopause can last 4 to 10 years and lead to gradual transition. Didn't I tell y'all I was melting on the BART after walking from my house to the BART station, which is only maybe about 4 or 5 blocks and stuff. But after I got to the BART and got up on the platform and everything, my face melted. But I'm in perimenopause. I'm not in full menopause. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying I'm not even in full menopause. So that means it can last from 4 to 10 years. It doesn't have to just come on all of a sudden. I got a hot flash, so I'm in menopause. No, I'm not in full menopause. There's a couple other things that have to happen before I go into full menopause and stuff. And so does you. So it seems like it's lasting forever. And then Auntie Sandra said, why does it go, or either Auntie Josie said, does it why does it come and go away or something, or whoever asked that, why does it come and go away and stuff? Okay, answering that is because you might not have been in full menopause when you thought you were. Just because you get a hot flash, that's not the only symptom you get before you go into full menopause. That's one of the symptoms you have while you're in menopause, or perimenopause, which is around the place. You're not quite there yet, puberty, but not quite mature, and stuff like that. But anyway, so it leads to a gradual transition into it. You got to transition into full menopause, and then it hits you, and then it goes away. But there's also things that can make it stay a little bit longer, like chemotherapy from cancer treatment, and radiation from cancer. So, that's why, yes. And let me wish Auntie Barbara happy birthday. She is going to be 70 tomorrow, and she loves her Indian summers, and she enjoys those, and stuff. She speaks her truth and stuff. So you said, when is it going to stop? Yes, and stuff. It was because you might have been in perimenopause all this time. So you might have started later. So it seemed like I'm 70, it should go away. And it might abruptly stop. That's the cold part and stuff. But it depends on when you went out and transferred from perimenopause into full menopause. So we can't put a date on it because we so weird, each and every one of us. Like I said, one heart, you born, your heart's supposed to be on your left side. Somebody born and they heart in the middle. Or their heart is outside of their body in a little sack when they're born. You see, we're weird, and stuff. Another thing, Auntie Barbara said maybe cigarettes, that can help prolong it. Cigarettes, chemotherapy, radiation, and all these other things, excessive drinking. Yeah, but I get my drink on. Hey, yeah. And it gets on down and stuff. And I'm just saying, no judgment, please, you guys. I'm just saying, I'm trying to stay hip and everything with everything and stuff. You said I have to go now, but T wants to join your podcast. Call me so she will know what to do, and see you next Tuesday. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for your participation, Auntie Sandra and stuff. And I'll definitely get back with you and stuff, and we'll have a conversation after the live and stuff so that we can find out how I can get her on and everything, and I'll send you all the information. Thank you for that. And thank you, T, if you got a chance to see it, even on Sandra's and stuff. And we'll be talking soon. Come on in, because I just keep it coming. And no subject is off the table. I talk about anything from your mental, from head to toe. If it's in your body or on your body, I'm talking about it and everything. So thank you and stuff. And then also we got Kiki said, happy birthday, Barbara. Her 70th birthday. She is 70 years young and can still drop it like it's hot and flash like it's on. Yes. And then we got oh yes, Rosie Granny Allen, my mommy, she says she has to go now and stuff. Her attention span is very special. No, it's okay, Rosie. And so she said, keep on teaching. Bring it on, nurse. And much love to you too. I love you and thank you so much. I thank you for all your support, especially you going through the motions and everything and stuff. But God got you. And he got a miracle around the corner. It's already on you, all over you. You're blessed. All right. And Miss Maria said, amen. And happiest birthday, Auntie Barbara. Yes. And everything. So, let me finish. So I told you guys, just in case you weren't clear, I said perimenopause can last 4 to 10 years. That means you're not even in menopause. You transition to menopause. So what if you went 4 to 10 years and peri with just a little bit of symptoms here and there, and then they go away and you thought you was out and then it came back again and stuff like that. You got a few more steps before you go into full menopause. And that might be why you're doing it later, because you probably never even made it to menopause yet until now or within the last couple years. So you still got some time that it might see you about some, or it might just abruptly stop. You'll find out either way. But other things that you could do to keep it from lagging is to, change that lifestyle, change that diet, slow down on the other recreational substances and stuff like that, and hope for the best. You'll get it done. And she said, thank you everyone for the birthday wishes. Yes. All right. And stuff. That's Auntie Barbara. And then one more thing is a myth for women. Nothing helps my symptoms. And then fact, hormone therapy, lifestyle changes, and medications are effective, meaning it is something to help your symptoms and stuff. And it's called hormone therapy, lifestyle changes, and medications. Certain medications are helpful and they will help it not be so bad. Oh, Rosetta Granny Allen said, let me see if I can put it on there. Barbara, happy birthday, young woman. Much love always. Your sister Rosie. I hope you can see that, Barbara. Yes. So men, so women, don't get off yet, because I want to tell you this real quick. And then I'm gonna leave you alone, I promise. This is the longest I ever stayed on too, but I gotta do it because I want to make sure that I'm equal opportunity giver of information. Men, a myth. All men go through male menopause. The fact, it's not universal. Only some experience significant symptoms. So you go through it, but some, they might not even see it, or they can push through that little simple stuff that they might go through. So it is a such thing as not really going through full menopause for men and everything. Myth, low testosterone is inevitable and untreatable. That's an untruth. Fact, lifestyle, medications, and hormone therapy for men, which is testosterone replacement therapy, can help men and bring back that oomph for you. So you do have hope. You don't just go and you just downhill and worth nothing and stuff. You worth everything and stuff. Men, testosterone therapy is always safe. Fact, it requires careful monitoring. They got to monitor your heart. They got to monitor your prostate, because men have prostate. They got to monitor your blood cell count. So it is a little bit tricky and stuff. You got to make sure that you are really in touch with your doctor so that you can, your body will snitch and your doctor needs to know everything and stuff. So I'm done with that and stuff. But that was my myth versus facts. And then the take home message: menopause in women is universal. Andropause in men varies. It's not the same, and it's not the same for every man like it mostly is the same for every woman and everything. That's why we have a common sisterhood, a Hunger Games sisterhood of hot flashes and stuff. The earliest onset of women is about 40, but sometimes a much younger. In men, it's rare, but it's about 30. And yeah, the youngest is approximately 30, sometimes younger, depending on your life, your DNA, your genes, and everything. Both menopause and andropause, which is male menopause, impact your physical, mental, and sexual health for women and men. Don't touch me. But anyway, medical care and lifestyle changes can improve your quality of life. It ain't over till it's over. Go to the doctor. Okay. And then myths create stigma. Oh, she in menopause, so yeah, she gonna get ready to shrivel up and die. No, he gonna get ready to shrivel up and die. Nope, not true. So stop stereotyping. It ain't over till it's over. And longevity means many people spend a third of their life post reproduction, making management essential, meaning caring about yourself and caring about that one body that you have. You know, start taking the time to really take care of yourself, you know, and stuff. I know I don't fit the mold of a 53-year-old. I know it. I see my face, you know, and stuff. I see my skin. Y'all see my skin and stuff. It's different and everybody's different. So just learn to start embracing yourself. Learn to start caring. I have to learn. So I'm telling you what I'm doing and stuff. I didn't say I got the message, everything and stuff, because I still do things. I'm still forgetful and everything else. I still get stressed out and all the stuff everybody else does. What I'm trying to say is we got to learn together. So I'm trying to make this a movement on Medical Talk in Layman's Terms with Nurse Charlene on every Tuesday at 7 p.m. unless there's a scheduling conflict and I can't come on, but I'll be sure to be on that next Tuesday and everything, where I talk about any and everything. If you want to message me with an ideal or something like that, or text me, like I said, tonight's live was a viewer pick and everything. I stream on Facebook Live under Charlene Nurse Allen, as well as YouTube under Medical Talk in Layman's Terms with Nurse Charlene. You can catch me, get on there and subscribe so I can get my subscribership up and everything and stuff. It doesn't take but a couple minutes, and you're watching what you're seeing right now. It's already on, going on right now at the same time on YouTube and everything and stuff. And I thank you guys for tuning in. I thank you guys for getting, because this is an interactive podcast. I thank you guys for everything you're doing and stuff. I thank you for being transparent. I thank you for allowing me to feel safe to be transparent with you, because I'm putting myself out here. You know, you see my face, you don't see your face and stuff like that. But I'm letting you know that as long as there's a need, I'm going to keep on doing it regardless and stuff. And I appreciate each and every one of you taking the time out on a Tuesday at 7 p.m. and now it's almost 8:30 p.m. to do this. They're not all going to be this long, but if it's important, I'm going to take the time to make sure I push it out and everything. So I thank you guys. And thank you, Maria. She said, I love you, and I love you too, baby. And she said, very thorough and everything. You like them eyes? Ooh, y'all see them eyes? Yep, I did it. I did it. Y'all see my teeth? They sparkle. I got gems on them. But anyway, I'm getting down. I'm leveling up. Let's go, baby. All right. Welcome to 2025. Medical Talk in Layman's Terms with Nurse Charlene, where she getting on down. Help me, help you, help yourself and your loved ones. All right. Y'all take care and have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed evening. All right. Peace out. Yeah.